We've reached the halfway mark of a 6-round championship for 2018. It's the Endurocross Championship, presented by Moose Racing. We are in Reno, Nevada at the Reno Sparks Livestock Event Center. Jason Wygant here to give you the call alongside Kristen Beat, who will be reporting from the racetrack. And a unique venue here, a little bit wider lanes, some chance for airtime on this track and higher speeds, but it's going to come down to the technical details. Let's get ready for our first heat race of the night. We'll qualify riders through heats. We'll take the top riders from the heat races and set them off in head-to-head combat in a matchup race later on. And then we'll be ready for our main event, which will pay the big points in the series. However, there is one championship point on the line for each heat race winner. And with how close the series has been the last few years, 1 point could indeed matter. Cart is sideways, and the riders are into the first turn and a nice inside line for Colton Hager, who grabs the lead on the number 10. That's your series points leader on board with Kyle Redmond. There's the airtime and the speeds we're talking about. But now into the slow technical stuff with the log set up right in the middle of the corner. Redmond in fourth. There's your leader, Hager. Cooper Abbott is second. Cristobal Guerrero on that Yamaha in fourth. Made a good showing of it at our last race in Costa Mesa. But look at Redmond on the number 7, charging through the firewood and making the pass for third, and now trying to get Abbott for second. They almost came together. That was an honest mistake. It's not like Redmond was trying to take Abbott out. He's able to make the pass, and look at this rock section. I love how dynamic this course has turned out with some of the high-speed sections and the jumps. This almost looks like arena cross right here. And big air time again for Hager. Follow him off the start. He's on the left side, using the inside line to his advantage. You get the good gate pick with a good qualifying time. Redmond pushed back to fourth. Soon able to get up to the number 2 position. They're still battling Redmond, Abbott, and Guerrero. Hager, he's had a rough go of it. Last race had a big crash in hot laps in the afternoon. That's where you take your practice times. So he had to start in the back row of his heat race. That was tough. This time he was fast in his hot laps, but he did have some crashes in practice, as we see Abbott and Redmond continuing to battle. Abbott is stepping his game up. Rode this week with Cody Webb, our defending series champ. Cooper is the son of Destry Abbott, a legend in off-road racing and no slouch on an endurocross track himself. If Abbott can hang with Redmond, who is a long-time front-runner and podium contender in this series, that'd be another sign of improvement for him. This rider's not taking that big jump rhythm through here like Hager was. Whoa, and Redmond to get to turn, to slow the bike down enough to get through that left-hander with the log. Abbott almost ran into the back of him. And Guerrero, who's very impressive, like I said last week, showing that speed again. Cristobal has ridden all sorts of off-road races all around the world, but taking quickly to the Super Endurocross class here in the United States. And look at this, he's right there with Abbott and has a shot at it, and he takes it. Third place now for Cristobal Guerrero, and now Redmond, a mistake. They nearly collide in the rocks. Wow, Redmond just ripping that bike around. Redmond he's tough. He's a pretty strong guy too, so he can take advantage in those situations, just save himself when he could have easily gone down, or at least given up the second place spot. But Guerrero got the bit between his teeth, really closing in. Now it's the 16 of Ty Cullens. He has made the move. Abbott losing ground in that exchange. This battle continues to rage. Look at the aggression of Guerrero. He wants to make the pass on Redmond. Can't quite get it done. Now, Guerrero raced the Super Enduro Championship over in Europe. That was actually also won by Cody Webb. Ended up 9th in the series, but there's no doubt, although these tracks are a little different in the United States, he can ride this terrain, and he has adapted to it very quickly. Got a lap rider stuck on that log. I think it might actually benefit Redmond because he was able to still take the preferred line. Remember the last couple laps he's been battling through there. Man, Cooper Abbott, it has fallen apart. Passed by a few more riders now. Benjamin Herrera on the number 8, able to get by him. Down this straight we go into the log jumps. Colton Hager is checked out, so we'll keep watching this battle. There's Herrera on the 8. Oh, but he gets off track, and he has a problem. Looks like a flat tire. And just as he was making a nice charge toward the front. Whoa! And Hager showing the skills right there, riding the back tire all the way across those telephone poles. now down through the rocks. Hager's your 2017 Endurocross champ and your heat race winner here. Trying to carry the points lead and maybe even stretch it a bit tonight. He certainly looks good so far. Wait a minute. He's airing it out. He likes that jump, but now we are hearing, we didn't see him go through there, the no-joke lane, which is required in this race. Hager forgot to take it. There is a long way around that you must take on one lap, and Hager just realized he never went through it. You have to ride on top of that container you see right there. That's shocker number 1. And number 2, Noah Keppel, who we didn't even see in the battle, snuck through to take second. That will become the win because Hager gets DQ'd from the heat. He's going to have to go to the last chance qualifier because he didn't take the no-joke lane. Wow, what a shakeup. Let's go to Kristen.
Noah, this marks your first career Endurocross heat win. Just 3 weeks ago, you started college as a freshman at the University of San Diego. This week, pursuing your professional career as an Endurocross rider. Treacherous conditions out there. How did you stay cool?
Oh my goodness, yeah, there was just a bunch of people everywhere, and super fortunate that I just kept my head on straight and took the no-joke lane as late as I did. As I was able to hit this jump out here, it's pretty big, and pass a couple people doing that, and then when I got back on track, everyone was behind me after the no-joke lane, so I ended up working out. I took the win. Unfortunately for Colton, he missed the no-joke lane, but that's all part of racing, and they reminded us at the beginning to take it, so just gotta remember to take that thing. It's tricky, but it'll get you.
Noah Keppel, a rider who started off his season in Prescott, racing his way into the main event from the LCQ tonight, taking his first heat win.
Webb's bouncing back, though. Said he actually had some nagging injuries to deal with at our last race. He had a good week of riding, feels healed up, rested, and ready, and he considers this his home race as well. So watch for Webb on the number 1. Webb just went bowling in the first turn. He just saw the pin stacked up. He knew he was in the right position on the inside, and he just pushed everyone out, and he's got the number 1 spot on the number 1. Hart's in second. Not for long. Ty Tremaine on the Alta electric bike moves into second. So they've been improving that Alta week in and week out. Tremaine struggled at round 1. Much better at round 2, and looks pretty strong here in round 3. But watch for Hart to try to stay with him. Wow! I thought we were watching a crash as Hart tried to wheelie over those logs, but that's actually the technique you've got to use to get through them. Webb pulling away. Dustin McCarty there on the 492, ahead of Jeff Aaron coming through next. Let's see if Webb hits the jump. He does, just like his rival Hager did in the first heat. Back to Tremaine here on the 14. Got a ways to go to try to catch Webb. We'll see if he can at least match his pace. It'll be something to build off of. Here's the start. Tremaine and Webb, wow. I mean, they really came together there. But Webb had the angle with that inside. He earned that from the hot laps in the afternoon. And Webb absolutely sent it. Good job by Tremaine to just stay up. He's got pressure. Hart is all over him in the 84, so good racing for second, just like we saw in the first heat. This is Hart. Tremaine right in front of him. Oh, so tempting when you see an opening, an inside line to go for it. Look at how perfect they are to ride across that log. So tempting to try to go inside of those rocks, to stick a wheel in and make the pass, but so easy to get stuck when you do that. So you've got to be able to control the emotions and wait for a different place to make a pass. Here's Hart. Wow, Tremaine tried to jump across that log. If he can pull that off, get the rear wheel over it and still corner, going to make up a lot of time there. One of the things that Tremaine did, he's actually taken some of the batteries out of that bike since it's 10 pounds lighter than it was. Range not really an issue in a race like this. These are short heats. Even the main event at 12 minutes in a lap. Not going to tax the bike battery-wise, but who's going to tax them right now? And you hear the hooting and hollering together as they battle. Hart trying to get Tremaine to the young guns. Oh! Hart is down hard. I think he got lucky there. The bike did not spear him, and he went down before they got to the face of that jump. Yeah, he's shaken, but hopefully not stirred. Wheel spin on top of the logs, and that's what you see Kyle Redmond coming over there. That is what Kristen had mentioned in the opener for this show. It's a different log, but the same scenario. Wheel spin on top. and down he goes. And as I said, he's lucky that he crashed before you get to the face of the jump. If you are going into the ground and then the ground starts going up, it's so much worse. This dirt is hard. Luckily, he hit on flat ground and the wheels went around him and not onto him. That was a scary moment. We've actually got the onboard. And you hear the high RPM. That rear tire started spinning, then the bike came off of the log. I think Tristan is done for this heat race, but he is walking off under his own power. You know, this race is at a little higher altitude than most of the stops on the tour, so I've got to wonder, this is a high heart rate, high intensity type of racing. I wonder if it will have an effect on anyone, maybe in these heats. Probably so for the longer main events, or even with the recovery time between them. We will also have those head-to-head bracket races, especially if you crash and pick the motorcycle up. Man, that sends the heart rate sky high. It's bad enough when you're just racing at this pace. But if you make a mistake and have to save it, we'll see who has the recovery skills. Webb, for as good as he has been this year, won the opener and is right there in the championship hunt. He has had some injuries coming in. I don't believe he had all the training time that he would have liked to have had coming into the season. And he ducks wisely into that no-joke lane. Check this out. They're going to go over the top. That's amazing what a motorcycle can do with riders of this caliber at the controls. And a lot of riders saying the top of that shipping container very slippery. And that makes it that much more tricky. But you're not normally trying to make passes in there, so that helps. As Webb powers over the logs and now into the rocks. Webb goes about 6'4". If he does have to put a leg out, he can save the bike if he's going to crash. But you don't see him in those positions much. He rides smooth, he rides smart. He's got the heat race win. That one was a no-doubter. Tremaine making the Alta work again. Looking to put that machine into the #2 position in this, if he could just hang on. And I think he's got it. So they improve every week. Another step forward. A little whip to boot. Oh, too much. Almost went into that log there and nearly crashed. Webb takes the heat race win. McCarthy, yes, in third. Nice run for him. Aaron fourth. And everyone else a lap down. And hearts go out to Tristan Hart with that big crash. I hope he can return for the LCQ. He definitely was banged up while battling Tremaine for the #2 position. Meanwhile, let's send it to Kristen with our winner.
Cody, this marks your third consecutive heat win. The rhythm section certainly challenging for the riders tonight, both physically and mentally. That triple almost threw you for a loop. How were you able to hang on?
You know, I was just about ready to send a Hail Mary and jump through the bars. I didn't know what to do. It was really high speed, trying to get behind a lapper, and I was just too aggressive. It was my own fault, so really scared me bad, and I thought it was going to be a big one, but rode her out, kind of tweaked up the bike, but hey, we know we're able to reel it in and keep it calm, and only a couple people are hitting some of the big rhythms out here tonight, so they're really tricky, and that one almost got the best of me.
What did you learn that you can now apply towards the main event in the head-to-head?
You know, I learned some of my lines, and I just wanted to tone it back a little bit so I wouldn't go too crazy and save it for the main event, but you know, I have some really good lines for the Matrix today, jump into the rock, so just a matter of being consistent for all those laps and not do anything crazy like that.
Best of luck in the head-to-heads. Congrats, Cody.
Webb revealed to us he had a bit of a shoulder injury at the last race. He ran well for a few laps, then really dropped off the pace, and then Tristan Hart was able to overhaul him for second. So quick recovery time for Webb, but at least he's on the front row of the main event. Colton Haker is in the back row after being DQ'd for missing the no-joke lane in his heat race. Here we go, the main event from Reno. Kyle Redmond leads them into turn 1 on the 7. Can he hold it? Or is the inside line going to work for Webb? It is. Jeff Aaron quickly up to the #2 spot. Going wide in this corner. Let's see if Aaron can maintain that spot. He does. This is a vintage Jeff Aaron performance. Aaron is 46 years old and running up front early in this event. Noah Keppel trying to make a move for third. And as they stack up, look at the benefactor. Colton Haker hustling through the firewood. Beautiful. Takes over the #3 spot. Redmond and Keppel got tangled. And Haker is so quick and fearless through those sections. Very dangerous to just run it through the firewood at that speed. Easy to catch a front wheel the wrong way and go down, but bother him one bit. But he's got a lot of work to do because Webb is airing out the big jumps and getting away. Aaron not doing the big jump, and that allows Hager to close up right to him. Jeff Aaron in the gas two-stroke, doors open. Hager sees it. Can he beat him through this rhythm lane from the inside? Oh, great effort by the number 10. So Hager is there, already to second place. It took a lap and a half to go from the back row to second. Now, can he close the gap on Cody Webb? Or will he hand all that points lead back in one night? Webb looks pretty comfortable over the jumps. I'd say that type of situation would normally be advantage Hager, but Webb has got the rhythm lanes figured out. And you know, through the technical stuff, Webb is going to be tough. He doesn't give you those huge mistakes very often. Obviously, no one immune on an endurocross track. Oh, Hager is hustling. Beautiful execution of the left-hand log turn. And if he can't get the mistake out of Webb, he's going to have to hope that Webb just gets tired. But Redmond is proving very stingy with this position. Tremaine cannot get a wheel on him. Redmond on a Husqvarna. Tremaine in the Alta, Keppel on a gas right behind him. Back to your leader, Red Bull FMF KTM of Cody Webb. And he looks so smooth out there right now. Battle is on. Tremaine has caught Redmond. This is for fourth place. Gas bike against the electric. This corner has been tricky. Look at Tremaine slicing to the inside. Same move that he used against Webb to win in the bracket challenge. Gets around Redmond and quickly pulling away. Now he's going to try to lock it down on the third place rider, Jeff Aaron, who's putting in the best race we've seen out of him for a while. Little misstep for Redmond in those rocks. Here are the telephone pole logs. It's so difficult. Wow, Tremaine already passed Aaron. That didn't take long. Noah Keppel keeping the heat on the SRT Husqvarna of Redmond. There's Keppel on the gas in red, 696. Everyone running a strong pace tonight. I feel like round 3 of the series, these riders have their racing legs back underneath them. Yes, it's still a Webb-Hager battle up front as per usual. Woo! Almost too fast into that corner. Keppel, though, still uncorks the big double and closing right back up on Redmond. Man, Redmond has been under fire pretty much every lap he has raced so far tonight throughout qualifying and right on into the main event. But as he's pushed by Keppel, they have closed the gap on Jeff Aaron right in front of them now. And nothing in it there. Redmond not able to close on Aaron, who went mistake-free through the logs, but it's the in-between the obstacle sections. That's where you really see the aggression. If everyone gets to the obstacles clean, it comes down to who can quick it up in the 20 or 30 feet between them. Ty Tremaine has been doing it very well. He's in third. Back to Hager, dealing with lap traffic all over the place. Whoa! Giacomo Redondi stuffs the front wheel on the number 18 in those rocks and nearly crashed, took a couple riders down with him. Everyone, though, was able to escape. I mean, Hager is digging, head down, charging, doing everything right, but the Endurocross god just not on his side. There will be that no-joke lane. I hate to remind Hager of that because he didn't take it in the heat race, and that's what cost him. That is the long way around that you have to take on one lap. So there might be a moment, whenever Webb takes it, if Hager does not, where Hager can get in front of him, but then Hager will have to take the line as well, and will give that time back. Getting around Dustin McCarthy here. Through the rocks goes Hager. Just cannot make up ground on Cody Webb tonight. And Hager is riding well. We haven't seen many big mistakes. I can't remember the last time the start was this important. All the riders are going to say the start matters. But let's be honest, we've seen Hager come from the back road like he did tonight and make up a ton of ground. Webb led a lot at our last event, but mistakes cost him. Usually you're going to get a gift from the riders in front of you that you can take advantage of to get the win, but Webb has just ridden too well for that. Got the early lead, pulled away, and is managing it right now. We'll go back to the third place rider, Tremaine, on the all-electric Alta. Kyle Redmond just behind him. Here's the no-joke lane. very slippery at the top. So slippery here, Tremaine, by the way, told us he watered his practice track. He flooded it this week to try to get some practice in slippery conditions. Be ready. There's the log as Jeff Aaron goes across it. Remember Kristen Beat at the top of the show said how slick those logs would be when you got on top of them? Jeff Aaron can handle that. His trials background, he's so good in the technical terrain. It has not been as easy for others. Now the perfect balance right now is Cody Webb, but finally a mistake. He got stuck, he cased it in those logs as he was trying to get around. I believe that's Ottersberg. As they snake through the rocks, there's McCarthy and another mistake. So lap traffic, this could be the opening. Ottersberg goes down, but Webb able to avoid the problems. And there's second place. Hager did make up a little ground through that exchange, so that was the opportunity. Is he close enough to put some pressure on? Wow, those rocks so much worse for most of these riders. Webb, even with lap traffic, able to get through it well. Back to Kyle Redmond on the SRT. Husqvarna. He's had a good run. Not quite as quick as Tremaine in third, but still will be solid points for the veteran of the series. Let's see if Webb can clean through that section again. Let's see if Hager on the number 10 can close up. Wow, Tremaine is about to go a lap down, even to our second place rider. Oh, Hager, I just cannot believe how well he has ridden, and yet still not able to make up ground. So much chaos. Try to use the outside of the rocks there just to avoid the traffic. He does. Colton has ridden a great race. But a 12-minute and 1 lap to go, main event format. He's running out of time. Well, you know Colton's not going to give up. Now he's got Ty Collins to get by. I don't even see Webb up ahead. There he is, and just working his way through. That's what you call a manual through a whoop section or even in a BMX riding. They keep that rear wheel driving on the ground, and that has just been an unbeatable combination. Cody went back to the drawing board this week, not happy with the third place finish at our last race. Rode with a bunch of friends this week, got healed up, and he looks so much more like the rider that won this championship last year than he did at the first 2 rounds. A nice rebound. He took a big blow last week. Hager caught him from way back. Here's the last lap. He's finally going to go into that no-joke lane. He didn't want anyone to have the chance to put the wheels in front of him. And Hager takes it also. Not as close as Hager has been, but not close enough to keep the heat on. So yes, indeed, a great rebound for Cody Webb, who needed it. Momentum had flipped in the favor of Hager. Got to get through these logs clean one more time, and that was a work of art. And you know, in the last lap, he's not even pushing it. Probably doesn't even need to do it that way, but since he's done it every lap. Oh, Hager is still sending it. Might as well go for it in the last lap, and Webb is dealing with traffic. Oh, you got to give it up for the spirit of Hager, but the checkered flag is out, and Cody Webb wins in Reno. Oh, these two warriors left it all on the racetrack. They pushed so hard. They lapped everyone, most riders, several times. But Cody Webb, at his home race, what he considers his home race here in Reno, he's from Northern California, has to feel good. Not just because of the crowd response, not just because of the points, but really for how well he rode. He was able to avoid the big mistake on a track that was creating tons of them. Tremaine third, Aaron fourth, out-dueling Redmond. What a great ride for Jeff Aaron. Keppel, Guerrero, Cullens, Herrera, and Cooper Abbott. That's going to be your top 10. So back of the grid next, Keppel, McCarthy, and Wells. Let's send it down to Kristen with our winner.
Cody, you won this main event with a gap lead. How were you able to break away from the pack, and what inspired that unique line selection throughout the matrix?
Well, first off, really getting a good jump off the start was helpful, and earlier today, my team manager said I should do that risky line in the matrix, and I wasn't having it, and then one of the other riders nailed it, Wild Wally, so I knew it could be done, and I think I nailed it just about every lap in the main event. Hit a lapper once on accident. It was pretty narrow through there, and you know, I was just making up a lot of ground in the technical bits today, jumping into the rock garden most laps, and really trying to fight through the lap traffic, but Colton was charging so hard I really couldn't pull even though I was doing those riskier lines, so he was on it tonight, but luckily I just had that little edge through the matrix, and I think that's all that it was.
Congratulations, Cody.
How about it? A tie at the top of the series standings at the halfway mark of the 2018 championship. Webb and Hager have been pounding on each other for this championship for 4 years now. They have been the riders to beat, but we've never seen it quite this close. But we'll see the month break who can put in the homework. Can Webb continue to roll? Can Hager get his revenge as we go to round 4? What an amazing season we have in store. Thanks for watching Endurocross. For Kristen Beat, I'm Jason Wygant. Congrats to our winner, Cody Webb.